Hey guys, it's Kaylee. I am back with another What Sold From Last Week video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over some of my sales that happened last week on eBay and Poshmark with hopes of sharing with you what buyers are really looking for on eBay and Poshmark. Sales continue to be about the same for me, still doing the same thing, so nothing really new to report, but next week we are going to start cross-posting to Poshmark again, so we will see how that goes and how it affects my sales. Let's dive right in. Before we dive into the sales, I wanted to take a moment and do another giveaway on my channel and say a big thank you to Jaden's for once again sponsoring another Bluetooth printer giveaway. I really love my Jaden's thermal printer, and it's always what I recommend when people ask, what should I get as a first printer for printing my shipping labels with reselling? They are incredibly easy to set up. I mean, it was like literally less than a minute to get everything set up. No tech experience required. It walks you through everything. Jaden's is once again offering a free 268 Bluetooth printer to my viewers, and we're going to do another random drawing giveaway. If you would like to be entered to win this printer, then I need you to do a few things for me in order to get entered. Number one, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. Number two, make sure you are subscribed to Jaden's official YouTube channel, which is at Jaden's Home. And then number three, I need you to comment down below. I'll remind you again towards the end of the video, but comment down below, what is the majority of the stuff that you're picking up? Are you mainly high sell-through rate based? That's your focus? Are you mainly style-based sourcing? Are you mainly doing the bread and butter and the factor stacking? Let me know down in the comments below, what does your sourcing model look like? What is the majority of what you pick up? And hopefully you will be able to win a printer to ship out those great items. I will have all of the information as well as Jaden's YouTube channel linked in the description, as well as all of the details about timelines, dates, when you got to get it in by, and when I will be doing the drawing. Thanks again to Jaden's for sponsoring another giveaway on my channel. Now back into the video. All right, so the sales that we are looking at happened between July 6th through the 12th. In total, I sold 110 items split between two platforms, eBay and Poshmark, most of which, as you know, happen on Poshmark as it does almost every single week. My average sale price just in total was just under $30, so a little bit lower than what I'm hoping to see. I'm trying to keep between 35 and 40, but we are still flushing out a ton of older stuff as well. So on eBay, I sold 95 items with an average item sale price of around $31, and on Poshmark, I sold just 15 items. Again, that's because we're not cross-posting over there anymore, with an average sale price of around 24 items. And my gross item sales, which means excluding what I also received in shipping, which sometimes, I'm making some money on that as well. Gross item sales on just these two platforms was around $3,200. So pretty happy with those numbers considering we are listing a much lower amount now on both of those. Let's go ahead and dive into some of these individual sales. So the first one I wanted to share was probably my favorite sale, and it's because it is a Halloween sweater vest. So people are already starting to pick up novelty sweaters, shockingly, Halloween stuff in the dead of summer. And I wanted to share this with you because this is a pretty decent brand to look for when it comes to novelty sweaters. It is one that you want to keep your eye on. If you do comps on it right now, you're probably not going to see a great sell-through rate. So it's just one that you want to memorize and one that you want to know and kind of keep in your back pocket that you can pick up all year round. It is Michael Simon. We picked this up at the bins. It is one, as I always say, that I would consider having an it factor. So it's, there's lots of novelty sweaters that you're going to come across, but not all of them look like this. Not all of them have, a wow factor where you're looking at that and you're like, this is really unique. It's pretty rare, and I'm probably not going to find something like this. Whereas some other novelty sweaters, it's like, they're kind of a dime a dozen, right? So it's got to have the it factor, which this one definitely did. We listed this one for $100, probably only paid a couple of bucks, which is our average cost of goods at the bins, excuse me. And this did sell for a full asking price of $100. This one took about a month and a week to sell, which is pretty quick for something like this. All right, next up, another style-based piece. This is by the brand Coldwater Creek. Definitely not a brand I pick up a whole lot of, and I assume probably hardly any of you pick up a ton of, but I do come across it pretty often, and occasionally I do find a really great style-based piece. So in this case, this was a really great style-based piece. It was Velvet Burnout. If you guys remember last fall and winter, I picked up so much Velvet Burnout. It was a factor that was definitely trending and one that sold really well for me. And I'm anticipating that being true for the season as well that's coming up. So I'm already starting to sell Velvet Burnout things. And this would be an example of one of those where it can really elevate a brand if it falls into certain trending aesthetics. So Coldwater Creek, not a brand I would memorize, but again, very great style-based piece with lots of factors. I listed this one high at $55. I paid $6.99 for it at a thrift store. It did sell for our full asking price of $55, and this one took a couple of months to sell. Next up, one of my favorite types of sales, which are the like vintage Y2K pieces. It is definitely a style aesthetic that I feel very comfortable and confident in, and I also come across it very, very often. If you want to kind of wrap your head around Y2K stuff and really know what you're looking for, have several videos in Reseller's Edge where we deep dive into it, because it does take more than just a couple of videos to kind of grasp style-based sourcing as well as just Y2K in general. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with that and you want somebody to hold your hand and walk you through that and show you exactly what to look for, how the tags should look, all of that stuff, we do have deep dives in our Resellers Edge Pro membership. This is a Hollister Y2K item. It has tons of factors that people are looking for in vintage Hollister pieces, and so therefore I priced it up pretty high because of that. Listed this one at $50. I paid $7.99 for it, knowing it was going to be a good piece. Not often am I paying $7.99 for Hollister, so it's this specific piece that was really good, and it did sell for my full asking price of $50. This one actually sold the exact same day that we listed it, so right on the money with pricing. Next up, this was another style-based piece. This is a brand called Highland Home Industries. It is not one that I would memorize, but there were several reasons I took a second glance at this at the thrift store, even in the dead of summer, and that is because every single year sweaters like this sell really, really well for me. And if you're interested in what factors kind of led me to that, I have tons of keywords here in the title that you can study, but it was all of that packed into one, mainly it being a chunky wool cable knit sweater, as well as some other factors. So regardless of what the brand was, it was coming home with me. So I listed this one for $40. I would actually probably list this higher if we were in the middle of colder weather. But since we are not, I priced accordingly, knowing that I wanted it to sell quicker before the cold weather was here. And so I priced it at $40 and it sold for my full asking price of $40. This took about a month to sell and I paid $4.99. This one was another kind of style-based Y2K item. This one was actually kind of a risk for me. I wanted to test it out, and whenever I make risks that I'm not super confident in, I really try to have a super low cost of goods. So whether I'm getting it at the bins or whether I'm getting it at some kind of a sale, but I don't usually pay up for things that I feel like I am going against my sourcing constitution on. And so I recommend you guys don't do that either. If you are like, this doesn't really fall into the rules that I've set for myself, then make sure your cogs are low and also make sure that you follow back up on whatever risk you took so you don't keep making the same risk again. So in this case, this risk did pay off for me very well. It is Lucky Brand, and there are very few pieces in Lucky Brand that sell well anymore. The Y2K stuff is one of them, but it's not this Y2K piece. So couple things kind of played in my mind as I found this. I actually got this not at a Goodwill bins location, but a different type of bins location at a local thrift store near me. I actually picked this up for about 25 cents, so a quarter. Very, very low risk for me. Couple reasons I looked into it. Number one, I do know that Lucky Brand vintage Y2K stuff is very trendy. Again, not this particular piece. So that was one factor where I was like, well, maybe I could risk it. And then it was also utility and like military jacket. And that also in itself is not super trending, but a micro trend. And so for all of those reasons, plus the fact that it was a men's and a size extra large, factor stacking, all of those combos together, I was like, let's go ahead and risk it and we'll keyword that title up and see how it goes. Like I said, I paid a quarter. I listed for 40. It did actually sell for my full asking price of $40, and this one only took a couple of weeks to sell. So all in all, the risk paid off, and that lets me know that I can continue making risks in a similar direction. So if I come across another piece like this with all of those factors, I'm going to continue picking them up. All right, next up, this is a Jonathan Martin, which is not necessarily a Bolo brand, but I do find that a lot of their pieces that I find just happen to have great Y2K factors going for it. So for me, I get excited every time I see it, but it's not necessarily a vintage Bolo brand. This one is a pretty plain piece, made out of polyester. It's not silk or anything like that. It's also lacking a lot of Y2K factors that I would personally want to see, but it had some other great ones that I thought made up for it. So there's a lot of like sheer details to it. There's kind of like mixed media patchwork going on, darker florals. I felt like I could put it into a lot of style aesthetics that are trending right now and that I could find the right buyer. And so for that reason, I decided to go ahead and get it. Also really great silhouette on this one. I listed this one for $50 and received an offer through messages for $40. I went ahead and sent that offer for $40. I paid $8 for it and it sold in a few months. Next up, another style-based piece. I haven't sold a ton of these recently. I think it's due to the warmer weather, but last fall and winter, I sold a ton of men's Y2K hoodies and various brands that personally I was walking right by until I learned about them. And so I'm still continuing to pick them up. They are not moving as quickly for me, but again, I think that's because it's summer. So I'm starting to see them pick up again for fall and winter. So you'll probably be seeing a lot of these in the What Sold video soon. This one is Volcom, and they're vintage Y2K hoodies depending on what you have, the graphics, size, like all that stuff. Some of their stuff sells for over $100. So it just really depends on what it is. I've had this one for a little while and reworked it and went ahead and dropped the price on that to $37 just because of the summer season. It did end up selling at our dropped price of $37 about a month after reworked it, changed the price, and refreshed the title. So pretty happy with that sale considering we got it from the bins. But if this were in the right season, I probably could have sold it closer to $50. But start keeping your eye out for the men's Y2K hoodies. They can definitely bring a lot of money in. All right, here is another Y2K piece, very similar to the Hollister one. This is Aeropostale. This one I listed for $40. It did sell for $40 for my full asking price very quickly. I paid $5 for it. And yeah, super quick sale on this one. Pretty much the same story as the Hollister top. And like I said, I come across stuff like this almost every time I'm at the thrift store. Next up, this is kind of an interesting sale. I don't pick up a lot of women's denim anymore. It just does not sell well for me. There's only a few brands that I'll even look at, and usually when I look them up, the style's not good. But Adriana Goldschmied, some of her stuff does have, a pretty decent sell-through rate, especially the men's stuff. The men's denim does really well. Women's not so much, but these are a pair of maternity pants, which I did not know that they made. We got this from one of our wholesalers. We paid $7 for it. We listed it for $40. It sold on an offer to watcher, which I send out in bulk every single day, multiple times to all of my watchers for 15, not 50. That'd be bad if it were 50% off, 15% off. And so it ended up selling for that offer to watcher of $34. And this one took a couple of months to sell. So usually thrift stores will have a maternity section, and every now and then I do go browse through that because there's like Madewell maternity jeans, Adriana Goldschmied maternity jeans. There's several different jean brands in the maternity lines that actually do perform well, so keep your eye out for those. This is a brand that is very good in warmer weather in dresses. It is Tommy Bahama. Can't say that for the rest of the year, but when it's super hot out, Tommy Bahama sell-through rate dramatically increases, especially in women's dresses. This one was an Island Zone one. It was a larger size. It was printed. It also was like UPF scuba feeling. So for all of those reasons, that's going to increase the value. I listed these for $40 and it sold on that offer to watcher I just mentioned that I sent in bulk for $34. And this one took almost exactly a month to sell. So pretty quick flip on this. If you are in the dead of summer and you come across Tommy Bahama dresses, most of them in general are worth getting. Sell-through rate is going to dramatically decrease as we move into that colder weather. So keep that in mind. All right, next up, this was another kind of like halfway risky piece, but I did my comps on it and the sell-through rate looked pretty good. So that's why I got it. But this is Savannah Jane. Savannah Jane is well known for their like almost like a Johnny Was, more affordable Johnny Was, lots of embroidered boho stuff, lots of multicolor. But sell-through rate wise, if it's a top, unless it's plus size, the sell-through rate is not good enough for my sourcing constitution. It might be for yours, but it's not good enough for my sourcing constitution. However, when I came across this dress, so a little bit more substantial of a piece in a size extra large, which is just under the plus sizes, I decided to look it up and it actually did have a pretty decent sell-through rate. So again, factor stacking on top of each other, using everything I know about a brand, sizes, factors to formulate, hey, this might be good and I should probably look this up. I listed this for $35. It did sell for my full asking price of $35, and this one actually only took 3 days to sell. Next up, this is an absolute definite 100% polo brand, Tracksmith. Their stuff's kind of under the radar. If you're just looking at it, looks like a pair of track shorts, not something a lot of us look for, but they have a very high sell-through rate, both men's and women's, more so the men's probably, but this is their little logo, which is, I think it's a bunny. And like I said, very, very high sell-through rate. You definitely want to know this brand. I listed these pair of men's shorts for $45. They sold on an offer to watcher for $38. I paid $5, and these ones took just a few weeks to sell. Next up, some more Tommy Bahama. Regardless of this brand, men's linen stuff right now for me, selling like crazy. Pants, shirts, blazers, all the things men's linen doing very, very well. Again, that window's about to close for that high sell-through rate because buyers are starting to switch over to fall stuff already, which is crazy. But right now, men's linen stuff is performing very well. So these are a pair of men's Tommy Bahama linen pants. I really thought because they were Tommy Bahama that I would be able to price them higher, but I actually wasn't. So comps told me around 30, and that's what I priced at, was $30. It did sell for my full asking price of 30, and this one took just a couple of weeks to sell. All right, next up, this is a very style-based piece. I've been selling a ton of stuff like this that falls under the like fairy aesthetic. You gotta know how to list them. You gotta know what factors increase value and kind of what to look for. But in general, stuff like this has been selling very well for me. I think it's hideous, but ugly sells. Ugly, maximalist, interesting, rare things tend to sell. Let me know if you agree down in the comments below. This is not a brand I would memorize. Like I said, I picked it up strictly on style-based stuff, but it was a Y2K label from what I could tell. And again, lots of factors that pulled this into the very fairy Y2K whimsical era, and paid a couple bucks at the bins, listed for $35. I've slowly been inching my price up for stuff like this, and it's been working. This sold on that offer to watcher I talked about for $30, and this one took only a few weeks to sell as well. All right, next up, this is a Bolo brand. There's lots of sustainable brands right now that are just like soaring in sell-through rate and some ASP, but I find that most of them are more bread and butter, but their sell-through rate is so high that I pretty much pick up anything in these brands. Packed, which is what this brand is definitely one of them. Very high sell-through rate in most things. A lot of their stuff's made out of organic cotton. This is a women's jumpsuit in a size large, which you would think would mean you could price up. But again, you've got to really pay attention to the comps and what you have, because nobody's going to pay more for your stuff over your competitors if it's the exact same thing, right? And so when you're looking at bolo brands that you can actually search, with the brand and have comps for and see the available listings, likely somebody else has the exact same thing as you in the exact same size and the exact same condition. So you really have to stay true to comps and not get too excited and price up. So I determined that this should be listed for $30 based on that. It did sell for a full asking price, and it took a couple of weeks to sell. Next up, this is a brand I've been having a lot of luck with in plus size stuff. I've mentioned it a few times to you guys. It's Land's End. This is a Land's End size 2X zip cardigan. Use some good keywords with this one to just kind of elevate that price and sell-through rates. Listed this one for $25, and it did sell for our full asking price of $25. This one took about a month to sell. Next up, some more men's linen stuff. This is a great brand to look for in linen, which is J. Crew. Great bread and butter if you can find it at the bins. I'm flipping it a lot, especially in the men's department. And this is also a Baird McNutt linen collab, which is very trendy. So keep your eye out for Baird McNutt linen, but even J. Crew men's linen shirts, I'd probably still get them regardless. This one also had like that rainbow stripe to it. So a couple interesting things going for it. Like I said, picked up the bins, paid a couple of dollars, listed for $30. It did sell for a full asking price of $30, and this one only took a couple of weeks to sell. You've probably noticed we're picking up a lot more stuff from the bins, and that is really just to kind of counteract the fact that we are listing less to just squeeze more net profit out of everything. So we're able to find a lot at the bins. We're picking stuff up probably on average, I would say $2 to $2.50 is what we're paying on average per piece, which is much different than what my average cost of goods was at the beginning of last year, which was much, much higher because I was getting a lot of stuff, probably at least half of our stuff from wholesale. And now I'm still doing wholesale, but majority of it we are hand selecting at the bins. So I'm really liking going to the bins. I didn't think that I would, but having that flexibility with my net profit and just feeling better about it when I need to drop prices or move stuff that's, otherwise sitting, because we all have that. Even if you look up, 100% sell-through rate things, there's just stuff that doesn't sell for whatever reason. You still need to move it. And I've personally felt a lot better about like reducing prices quicker and getting stuff out the door and not holding on to inventory as I have a lower cost of goods. So slowly moving towards not a complete bins model, but a lot of stuff is coming from the bins. Next up, this is another style-based piece. This is actually a brand I find does have pretty good styles. I'm not going to say that it is a bolo vintage brand, but similar to Jonathan Martin that I showed you in that dress, most of the stuff I find is pretty good. So this is a 100% silk Y2K top. This one is like the epitome of what you want to look for in like a fairy Y2K top. Plus it is silk. So all of the things, I mean, I honestly could not put more great stuff into this. However, this one unfortunately did have several flaws. If it didn't, I probably would have priced this closer to, I don't know, probably like $50, $60. But because it did have some stuff, we had to reduce the price. I ended up listing it at $35 because of the flaws. It sold very quickly on an offer to watcher for $29. And this one only took about 5 days to sell flawed. So if that tells you how much interest there was in this and how on trend it is, that should be an indicator to you. Like I said, would have priced essentially double this had it not had the flaws, but it had some pretty significant flaws. All right, next up, another really awesome sale. This is just Ann Taylor Loft, not a brand I would look for. Strictly got off of style. This is just a tank top, but it did have, again, a lot of factors I know people are looking for. Listed this one for $27 and it did sell for our full asking price. By the way, all of these are plus shipping, so our buyers are paying calculated shipping on top of it. I paid $4.99, sold for full asking of $27, and this one actually only took 4 days to sell, so very, very trendy piece. Selling a lot of stuff like this, guys. And if you're looking at this and you're like, I walk by stuff like that all the time, you probably do. And I urge you to just study and look into the Y2K aesthetic right now and figure out what people are looking for, because I'm telling you, the world just opened up for me when I could style-based source. And I'm really thankful to Bethany over at Trash Pandas Thrift when we partnered together, because she did teach me so much about style-based sourcing. And you can go check out her channel if you want. Her and her husband Sean run that channel. They are under Trash Pandas Thrift, and they're another excellent resource for style-based stuff as well. But I really urge you guys, I mean, it's crazy how much of the stuff you can come across and flip. Please look into it or consider joining the mentorship group. And I can obviously work hand in hand with you and teach you, but it is definitely an aesthetic that you want to know about. I am selling thousands of dollars worth of it every single week. It's honestly blowing my mind if you can't tell. All right, next up, another Y2K top. This one is by the brand So. This one is another lacy kind of tank top. I listed this for $28. It sold for full asking price of $28. I paid $5 for it, and this one only took 12 days to sell, so super quick flip. All right, next up, I do have some bread and butter in the plus size department. I think I only pulled a couple of them for you, but plus size is another category outside of the Y2K tops that I sell a ton of. Really got that customer figured out. And these Susan Graver liquid knit tops are definitely one of them that you want to be looking for. We actually, looks like we failed to put liquid knit in the title and it still sold, so that's great. But their plus size stuff generally performs well. Then if you've got that stretchy scuba material, it sells even better. I listed this one for $25. It did sell for full asking price of $25. I paid $4.50 for it, and this one took about 3 weeks to sell. When it comes to all of these plus size pieces, I've made videos on it in the past, but you definitely want to make sure you're not picking up plain stuff unless it's like a really high-end brand, and there's not many of them. Like, I'm thinking high-end for me is likely going to be like an Anthropologie 3X piece with lots of embroidery and stuff like that. You don't want to be picking up, if you're doing like factor stacking and bread and butter stuff, don't pick up the simple stuff. It does not sell. So that's how we're able to get $25 for these pieces, is we're really factor stacking a lot of things and banking on this factor stacking. All right, next up we have a fast fashion brand, Romley, which is essentially the equivalent of Shein, and this one sold on an offer for $20. This is another thing we're picking up from the bins, and again, regardless of brand, it's got great like factors for the Y2K style aesthetic. However, with it being a cheaper feeling brand, we do price lower because of that. So if I were to find this in Hollister, for example, I'm pricing closer to $35, $40, $50, sometimes $60. But if I'm picking up, Romley or Shein or Fashion Nova or certain things like that, we do factor that in just as far as quality goes, if that makes sense. So listed this one for $25, and I have Posher VA sent out offers to watchers, and it ended up selling for $20, which I'm pretty happy with. A quick bins pickup. Like I said, these things pad all of my sales. All right, next up, this is one that I paid full price for at a thrift store. I believe I paid $7 for it. This is another brand that I like getting in plus sizes. It is J. Jill, especially in their love linen pieces. So their linen in general and J. Jill really increases sell-through rate and ASP. But on top of that, if you've got a plus size, excellent sell-through rates and prices for it. So this is a J. Jill Love Linen plus size dress. It's also tiered, very on trend. I think I listed for $50 on Poshmark, knowing that I'd get offers, and accepted an offer of $40. This one also flipped very quickly. All right, next up, I've got a couple just bread and butter things for you before we close out today's video. One of them is bras. I did a deep dive on bras recently, not here on YouTube, just for myself. And I found a lot of bra brands that I like just didn't realize and I've been walking right by. And so Brooks was one of those brands. It doesn't have a 100% sell-through rate and everything, but it had a good enough sell-through rate that when I come across them, I'm gonna like look into the factors and things like that. So this one was new tags. So for that reason, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this one obviously. And it ended up selling on an offer for $22 relatively quickly. Brooks is the brand that makes like the running shoes and things like that. So keep your eye out for Brooks bras, especially if you can find them super cheap. Next up, just more bread and butter. This is just Free People Movement. The Free People Movement line, unless you've got a super specific piece, generally not that great, honestly, sell-through rate wise, I've noticed. But these ones were multicolored shorts and they were in great condition. We just priced lower to account for sell-through rates. And they did end up selling very quickly for that bread and butter, $25. And lastly, this is Eileen Fisher. I still love picking up Eileen Fisher. I do try to stick to the plus sizes because that's where the sell-through rates are at. But occasionally I will pick up things when there's factor stacking involved in smaller sizes. In this case, this was new tags. Retailed for $120. Their stuff is pricey. It is expensive. And it was 100% silk. Plus, it also fit into like stuff I know people are looking for. So I knew we were going to be able to keyword it up and get this moved. Listed for around $45 on Poshmark, expecting to get offers, and received an offer for $36, which we went ahead and accepted. All right, guys, so that's it for the what sold video this week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what is the bulk of what you're selling. Are you guys enjoying picking up sale-based stuff? Are you doing more factor stacking? Are you able to find, majority high sell-through rate bolos? I know that we still pick up tons of high sell-through rate bolos, but it is not, majority of what we do. There's like a little piece of the pie everywhere. Style-based, factor stacking, or, bread and butter stuff, higher ASP but lower sell-through rate, as well as that high sell-through rate stuff, which is still our core focus. So let me know down below. I'm just interested to see what majority of you guys are doing and also why you like watching these what sold videos. Drop it in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!